Hello YouTubers. Today we're working on a 2004 Chevy Colorado, and truck came in to the shop because the owner complained of AC not working, so we have to replace basically the core valve inside this hose, and then replace the whole unit, the whole port on the high side, because it leaked all the, looks like it leaked oil and freon. So I replaced those, already took care of it, charge it to specs with the AC machine, of course. So started the truck, and noticed that the AC, the compressor is it's working fine. I could see eyes building up around the low side of the hose, but it's not blowing any air. And since I'm always busy, but I wanted to share with you, I already did some troubleshooting and some testing, because the blower motor is just not spinning. So anyways, what I did is remove some stuff. So what you do here is you go and check and make sure that the fuses are okay, and they are. And there's a switch right on the AC controls, and it's all the way to high, as you can see, but it's not blowing. Blower motor is not spinning, in other words. So I just wanted to share with you what I found out. So I check the blower motor switch is this one right here behind this control. So usually terminals, the connectors, they burn because of heat. These ones though, nothing wrong with them, look okay. And sometimes it varies by vehicle manufacturer. In this case, GM, what they did is they control ground through the switch. This one here, the black wire, is ground at all times. So as you keep spinning, turning the knob to, this is off, of course, and then you go to first speed, second, third, and fourth. But as you can hear, the blower motor is not working. So then you gotta go underneath. There is the blower motor right there, and I'm just gonna show you how to do basic troubleshooting, because I know that there's people out there that they're gonna have issues with these kind of trucks. So like I said, according to the diagram, all data, it says that it should be ground or 12 volts negative at all times. And there is power, but that doesn't mean the wire is shorted to ground. What is happening is, since I turned the switch to the on position all the way up, because the ignition switch is on, the current is flowing through the blower motor, coming to the blower motor resistor right here, and it's just flowing through the wires because there is no ground. So, but if you turn the ignition switch, you're gonna see that power, it's gone. There's no voltage. Okay, So what you're doing here is you go ahead and you turn the switch all the way up, or you can do it either way. First speed, second, doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So what you do is you come in here and then you check in here and make sure that you got power. Let me grab my flashlight, because sometimes the blower motor resistor can go bad. It's common for these things to fail. So pay attention to the connector. Sometimes they burnt and it fries the wires here in this piece, but they look okay, although that doesn't mean that the resistor is fine. So, and then you go ahead and disconnect your blower motor resistor, or not resistor, connector. So there's two wires here. Let me put my phone in here. Hopefully you can see it. Anyways, so you go ahead and test. There's power. Okay, so that means fuse is okay. Blower motor relay is okay because it does have one. We got power, but as you can see, we got no ground. There's no ground. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna check and make sure that that is on. Okay, so we're missing ground, and that is why the blower motor is not turning. So let's just focus on the ground being missing. It's missing. We're missing the ground, so we're not gonna focus on that blower motor resistor, because we gotta have our ground first. So I'm gonna show you guys that if you go to diagrams, we're gonna go take a look at the diagrams. What I did is came to my computer. Hopefully you can see this diagram. But we're gonna go to these one. I like Mitchell better when it comes to diagrams. So here we have our diagram for our AC or HVAC system. As you can see, we have a relay, we have a blower motor. So we check the connector at the blower motor and we have power. So the issue is on the ground side. As you can see, that is our blower motor switch. Well, the black wire that goes into the connector for the blower motor switch is our main ground. And then if you look closer, we see here it says ground 106. So what I did is went ahead and checked that ground, and I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, so we're gonna look at location for that ground, and it says right side of the engine compartment. Okay, so now that we know where to look, we're gonna go ahead and go back to the truck and see what's going on, why we don't have a ground present at the HVAC control. So let's go back, and forgive me for my cell phone. I'm recording with my cell phone and it's kind of shaky, but it's kind of hard to hold the phone and then work at the same time. But anyways, so I already removed the air filter housing because that's where our ground is. And the diagram said that it was on the right side of the engine compartment. So here is our ground, but you guys are not gonna see it or work on it because there's our filter housing. So this one is kind of bulky and big. So look, if you put it here, you put it back, I'm not gonna bolt it on, but we're just gonna slide it in there. And you see, we got another piece. So that piece is kind of on the way, and you can't really see anything. So what I did is I removed the housing. It's got, I'll show you guys, it's got one bolt, another one right there, and it's got a stud in here. There is a stud. So once you remove the two bolts and the stud, the nut for the stud right here, then you're gonna gain access to that ground. So what I did is once I located that ground and removed the air filter housing, I came back to the truck, and this is what I did. I'm gonna use this piece of harness, this not harness, wire. So let me I'm gonna remove the connector from the Hvac control. Let me just put my phone down. Sorry about that. Okay, so I got that connector off. So we're gonna look out for our ground. Remember, it was a black wire according to the diagram, and there is a wire. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna slide this piece of wire into the connector, and then I'm gonna put the other end into my power probe, as you can see. And then what I did is I just went ahead and kind of play with the connector, see if our ground is present when we. Now that there is a good tip in here. Every time you're trying to diagnose an issue with the electrical connectors, you know, the most common pieces to go bad is the connectors, where they splice the wires, where they in this case they splice the wires all together into one piece right here. So there could be an issue in here, or you can, you know, check the diagram and make sure that there are no splices in between the ground and our blower switch. So I checked the diagram, and according to that, the only splice we have is this one. So I'm gonna show you exactly what happened. So I'm gonna put the phone closer to my power probe. Hopefully you can listen to that noise. I'm gonna shake the connector, kind of play with it, and see if we can hear that power probe beeping. There it is. When I play with the harness, with the connector, can hear that our ground it's present. Once I let go of the connector, then the ground goes away. But if I play with it, right now I'm playing with it. I'm touching that connector, and our ground is present at the power probe. Okay. So what we have in here is we have an issue with our connector. There's something wrong with this wire here, and that's what's causing the ground to go missing, and that's why the blower motor is not spinning. So I'm gonna repair that wire, either get rid of this black box because it causes a lot of issues with that, especially connections, and that should take care of it. It's just a tip on how to find issues or trace the problems with this kind of harnesses. And sometimes they're easy, like this one. It wasn't that much of a pain, but sometimes they can be tricky and they can be hard to find. So I just wanted to share with you guys what exactly is going on in here, and I'm gonna try and see if I'm gonna pull this wire out of that blower motor switch connector, connect the harness or the connector back to the switch, and it's on all the way up, and then our ignition switch is on. So I'm gonna leave my cell phone here, connect this blower motor connector and our resistor connector, make sure that they are in its place, and I'm gonna go ahead and just play with that ground, and hopefully you guys can hear or listen to that blower motor spinning. So be right back. There it is. Now we got our blower motor, and there's blower motor is blowing air now. So anyways, wanted to share this tip. If you guys have any questions or suggestions how to improve my videos, I'm a newbie to YouTube. I don't really know how to make a good video out of my work or the cars that I repair on a daily basis. But anyways, any thoughts and suggestions are welcome. Thank you.